Hi, this is Lorraine with Chat and Craft with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live on the East Coast of the United States. And until the pandemic hit, I had mostly in-person events that I did. And now, with COVID and with things happening virtually, I'm trying to do more on Facebook and have more virtual things going on. So I'm just checking to make sure I'm in the screen pretty well here. Waiting for my video to start. Doesn't seem to be moving too much. Okay, here we go. Hi, Debbie. Glad you could join us. So I have two Valentine treat holders I thought we would make. I really like adding these to my cards or bags or just dropping off with the neighbors at this time of year. So this is a little double-sided treat holder. It can hold Ghirardelli chocolate. Trust me, I had Ghirardelli chocolate in here, but those that know me know I can't resist chocolate, so I ate it. And I didn't want to buy any more because I would eat that too. It also holds individually wrapped tea bags very nicely if you wanted to put tea bags in instead of chocolate. So it's a nice size and it works up pretty quickly. You can make a lot of these pretty fast, and I'm going to show you how. So the first thing you need to have is a 6x6 piece of DSP. And I'll put all these measurements on the video description when we're done. I am going to take my blade out of my trimmer. I hope you know how to do that. There's a little spot where in the track where it's wider. I'm just checking to see if you can see this. And you just wiggle your trimmer, your blade out right there. And of course now I can't do it. Okay, just like you would do if you were going to replace your blade. I'm going to take that out because we're going to do some scoring, and I don't want to cut instead of score on live Facebook and have to start over again. All right, so we're going to take our 6x6 piece of paper and we're going to put it diagonally in our trimmer. And I'm going to make sure I have a point in the channel at the top and at the bottom. And I'll start my scoring in the middle so that I don't mash that little point. And I'm just going to score it in half like that. It's really hard to see the score line on this piece of paper, but you can tell it's scored. It's not quite as even as I would like it, so I'm going to use my bone folder to just correct it a little bit and push it just a little bit differently. There we go. So that's good. Now I'm going to open that up and I'm going to score a 1/2 inch over on the right side of the line, the fold, and a 1/2 inch over on the left. And this is the side of the paper that I want to show, so I'm keeping that up as I score. So now I'll put both points on the 1/2 inch mark, and I'll score a line on that side, and then I'll put them, there's a 1/2 inch mark to the right of the channel also. So I'll put my points on that. I'm going to score again. Okay, so now I have 3 score lines. I'm going to turn it 90, or no, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to put the fold up at the top of my trimmer and put this little point at the 2 3/4 mark. And I'm going to score it. Okay, 2 3/4. And you're going through 2 pieces of paper there since it's folded, so you have to give it a little bit of pressure. Now I'm going to flip it over and score it at 2 3/4 again. Okay, and that's all the scoring that we'll be doing. So I'm going to put this someplace else. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just fold all my folds and burnish them with the bone folder. Get them nice and crisp. And then I have some over here at 2 3/4. There we go. It's hard to see them on this paper, so I'm going by feel. Okay, so you don't even need any adhesive to keep this little doodad together. So this is the side I want to show. So I'm going to put it face down, and I'm going to fold my 2 sides in, just like that. And then I'm going to, go the opposite way. I'm going to fold it like you think you don't want it. You can't see the little pockets, but then I'll fold them back on each other. And that's where you have those 1/2 inch score lines. And it goes just like that. Again, you can encourage it to lay nice and flat with your bone folder. Okay, and I'm going to punch a little hole right in the top of this. On this one, I did a ribbon and then a little bit of baker's twine. On this one, I'm just going to do a ribbon. So I punched a hole, and I'm going to use about 8 inches of ribbon. I think that might be a little bit long, but I don't want to get caught short. So I think I'll put it through doubled. And then just loop it over. And that might be a little heavy. I could always trim those off just a tad. Yeah, I'll make them a little bit shorter. There we go. And now we'll put a couple of hearts on the front of that. I have the heart punches. One has a scalloped edge and one has a straight edge. So I think we'll do a red one. The scalloped one is a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to stamp. This was in my scrap bin, even though it looks like a good stitched square. I'm not sure why it was in there, but we're going to go with it. And I'm going to use a stamp from the Heartfelt stamp set. This has the hearts that coordinate with the punch, and a happy Valentine's Day, and then some sentiments that fit right in the heart. So I'm going to use From My Heart to Yours. And I'm using some real red ink because this is real red. Oh, and the paper is from the True Love Always. Oh, I forgot the name of it now. It's the pack of black and white paper. I think it's Love Always Designer Series paper. And now I'm going to punch this out. I may have stamped that a little bit low. We'll see. If your piece of paper is too little to fit in your punch, just stick a sticky note on it. Maybe not one that has dimensions for something. And then you can move your piece of paper up and down. I think that will work just fine. Okay. And so I'll use a little bit of glue to layer these 2 hearts together. This is a new Tombow, so that came out really thick. Hopefully I won't make a mess. So I layered that. And then I think I'll put a dimensional. And I'm going to put my dimensional right on here because there's not a lot to grab onto, and I don't want to miss it by putting it in the wrong spot on my heart. And then do that. And then you can put your tea bag in it, or your candy. Candy is probably a little bit better for Valentine's Day, but these make great favors for a wedding or a bridal shower. We used them at a retirement party one time and put tea bags in them. So they're really quite cute and they work up pretty quickly. So that's one Valentine treat that you could do. And then this one is inspired by my grandson. I wanted to make something for him to give to his little friends at daycare, and my daughter is a preschool special ed teacher, so she's going to give little Play-Dohs like this to her class. So this is just a little Play-Doh holder that I made, and it has a spot on the back where you can do to and from, and it folds up so that you can write on it. And I'll show you, this is also pretty quick to do, so I will show you how we did that. All right, I'm just bringing in some different supplies now and moving some things out of the way. All right. So for this, I'm using the Snail Mail DSP. This is really cute paper. It's from the January to June mini catalog, and it has really bright colors, and some of them work great for Valentine's Day. It has this heart paper that has mushrooms on the other side. We're going to use this little squiggly paper, which I thought was great for preschool. Looks like preschool writing to me. This one has a mail bag and even hearts on things, a bigger snail, and mushrooms. So it's really cute, cute paper. So I thought we would use that with some Bermuda Bay. There's my paper, and I need my trimmer that I put someplace else. And we are going to score again. And this is a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and it's 3.5 inches across, and it's 11 inches long. It's the full length of the piece of cardstock. And like I said, I'll put all these measurements in the description. We're going to score it at 4. Whoops, I need to open this up. 6.5, 7.5, and 10. And this design originally was meant to hold a candle. So it could also hold a candle for a gift, or a coffee cup. Somebody made them with a little coffee cup that sat in here, and then they had treats in the coffee cup, because you could change the dimension. Whoops, I didn't glue that on. The dimension of the circle there if you wanted to. All right, so now we have our score lines, and I'm going to just fold those and give them a good crease with my bone folder. Okay, and we're going to visualize how this goes together. It goes together like that. So we want to decorate this top piece, this front piece, and the back piece. Okay, so it goes small, bigger, biggest. So we're going to decorate it like that. First we have just this little piece here. Okay. Oops, I moved that. Then we have a slightly bigger piece that fits right in that slot. Put some glue on that. All right. And then the bigger piece goes at the top right here. So it looks like, uh-oh, I'm putting it on the wrong side. But if you just give it a little fold and visualize how it's going to be, you'll see that that is the correct side. Okay. Now we're going to have to put this through the big shot to do our hole here, but I'm going to wait a little bit, because if you put it through the big shot when all the glue is wet, sometimes you ooze out some of the glue that you don't really want to have ooze out. So now we're going to decorate the piece of white that goes on the back, except that my piece of white appears to be missing. So we will cut another piece. I have to put my blade back in quickly so it goes back in the same way we took it out. Just kind of wiggle it back in. So this piece is going to be 3.5. 3 1/4. I'm sorry. Everything at the Bermuda Bay is 3.5. 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And this will fit on the back of this right here. So I'm going to use the same stamp set that I used before for some of the stamping. And the Happy Valentine's Day comes from this Heart to Heart stamp set. You can see that these two stamp sets are well loved. I have used them a lot, both this year and last year, to do Valentines. And I want to tell you a little trick about these photopolymer stamps. This one is pretty well loved. You can see it's stained. And sometimes they don't stick as well to the block after a little while. And they say it's because it gets grease or oils from our hands on it. If you wash it with just a little Dawn liquid dishwashing detergent, that will get rid of any residue that's on it and help it to stick better to the block. And then just let it dry out well before you use it. Okay, I'm going to use the Real Red ink again. And I'm going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day at the top. And then I'm going to do 2 hearts. I love this little dotted outline heart. So there's one. And here's the other. Let me close this up. And then I just used a to and from stamp that is from, oops, it's stuck here. It's from Snowman Season. So you know how you would use on the back of a tag a little to and from? I thought that same concept would work on this. So I'm just using some basic gray. I thought that would be a little softer than black. And I stamped a to and a from. And we'll put that on the back of this after we put it together, or in a minute. But I want to put it through the big shot, and I don't want it to have wet glue on it. All right, so let me bring my big shot over. And this is one, we're just going to use a scalloped circle from the Layering Circle dies. And I'm going to put it on the piece that has the Bermuda Bay print on it. I'm going to try to center it right there. I'm not sure if you can see this. Oh, here we go. It's the video's catching up. And I'm just going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Sorry, it wiggles the whole table. Okay, and I'm going to save this little piece that we cut out because that's the piece that I put on the top of the Play-Doh jar. And I didn't stick it on that other one because for my daughter's class, she's actually getting these in red, not in this color, so I didn't want to stick one on to there. Okay, so now we can glue this on. Take care of that. I like the little bit of the non-traditional colors of this, the Bermuda Bay and the Blushing Bride. And now all we have to do is put some adhesive on this right here. I'm going to use some seal, or maybe I'll use some tear and tape. If you're going to give it to a kid, you probably want it to be pretty secure. So I'll put a couple pieces of tear and tape right there. And then peel that backing off. Okay, and now I find the easiest way to make a box or to get this just right, I could fold this and try to get it on here just right, but you run the risk of it not lining up quite right. If I fold that down all the way and just flip this over, it's going to line up perfectly. So that's what I'm going to do. Give it a good rub, and then when I pick it up, I have my little box made. And there's a couple more things we have to do. One thing is that the taper on the bottom of the Play-Doh jar is such that it doesn't sit all the way down at the bottom like that. So we are going to punch a circle out of the same color as the box. And while I'm here, I'm going to punch a scalloped heart out of this for our decoration. All right, let me show you what we're going to do with this. So I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals and I'm going to build it up 2 dimensionals thick. So that's pretty thick. And I'm just going to put that right there. And then the Play-Doh can sit right on that circle underneath, and you don't really see it because it's the same color, and it's a little bit smaller than the Play-Doh jar, and it holds it just in the right spot. So now we have a heart, and I thought we would layer it with a white heart. So I already stamped "So Lucky to Have a Friend Like You." And I'll just punch that out. Okay, that came off. With the smaller heart punch. Trying to get that centered. And we'll glue that on. I don't know why I keep putting the cover back on the glue, but I do. All right. And then I'll use a couple of dimensionals. And we would stick that on there. And I'm going to put this just a little bit off center. and that would be our Play-doh container. And you have a place to sign it. So for kids, or you could put a candle in it, or a cup of coffee filled with, or a coffee cup filled with some chocolate, no coffee, but just the cup and chocolate, or candle. And then, whoops, this is the one I made before, but you can have a Ghirardelli chocolate holder or a tea bag holder. And you can brighten up your neighbors or co-workers or family's Valentine's Day. I hoped you liked those projects. I'd love it if you would like the video and maybe share it with some friends so more people could see it. And if you live in the US and you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. You can find my blog, sign up for my email, or even shop with me on chatandcraftwithlorraine.com. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.